Alrighty, let's start today off, excuse me, with Euro USD. Now, mind you, today we have somewhat of a medium impact on Euro pairs and USD pairs, and we have high impact news on GBP pairs. Two news for today. Alright, so today you guys picked Euro USD, GBP USD, and USD CAD. So in my suggestions that I would give you, since they're all USD pairs and they have somewhat of an impact on the news or from the news, I would recommend waiting for the H4 to close first before deciding anything, or after the US session has opened. All right, but if the price has entered the zones and you want to take the risk or scalp before that, you may. Right, 20-40 pips, TP. 20-40 pips, TP. Okay, so starting with your USD, I have my sell zone, which is an engulfing buy that failed. Price played within the key level multiple times, but failed to create any engulfing sells just yet. Okay, so if the price were to come back up, then potentially it might want to complete that, right? It might want to complete that first engulfing sell. Now, our buy zone is just an engulfing buy, it's an engulfing buy. And after that, the price failed, or is rather failing to break below. So there is also a chance for it to bounce up from here. But judging on the H4, since the H4 is going on this very, very heavy downtrend, there is a high chance that you maybe can scalp some small buys over here. But if H4 wants to continue on this very downtrend or a heavy downtrend, then it might break below. If it does, then we wait for the price to retrace back into the key level, excuse me, and then we press ourselves for continuation down. Okay? So EU, what can it do? Now, I'm just going to show you what I will monitor for any buys on EU because it has just tapped the buy zone in our previous H4. Okay, so on M15, hasn't created anything yet. I wanted to create in the key level or just right above it or below it, right? So on M15, it hasn't created anything yet. But on M5, we have this small little dude right here that I will monitor, right? And engulfing sell that failed, created this first engulfing buy. So we have an EFEG buy. So if I were to press any buys, either I will wait for the price to drop back down into the key level to create any setups over here, which could be an engulfing buy means buy means buy, or if the price closes over here and creates another engulfing buy, then we have confirmation from here. Okay, so then I will press buy, but better to wait for the H4 to close or the US session because of the news. But if you want to scalp, go for it. Okay, so on just from the look of H4, what can EU do? EU, if H4 again still decides to respect our buy zone, or potentially then catch a buy back up. But if it breaks below, then it might want to test a lower area. Okay, vice versa, if it decides to test our sell zone, since our sell zone is just an engulfing sell, not engulfing sell, sorry, it's an engulfing fail, price might come back to complete the first engulfing sell. Okay, so there's a potential of that. But if price comes back up and closes above, then I might want to test a higher area. Okay, so that's it for EU. Next pair, we have GU. Oh no, my nose is getting really, excuse me. Okay, for GU. Ooh, it just tapped into our key level just now. Damn it, it's okay if we miss it. Perfectly fine, we can find continuation setups down. But for GU, an engulfing buy that failed, price came back, created this first engulfing sell that just closed right below. Then we have another engulfing sell over here. So when the price came back up on this H4, it actually tapped into our key level. And if we just see it was just recently. Okay, I was actually doing an analysis over here, but my analysis got glitches, so this is the new one. So it's okay. We can wait for it to create this engulfing sale, and we can wait for it to test it also. No worries at all. Okay, so on H4. So that's our sell zone, and our buy zone is way down here. Why? Because there are a lot of zones over here that are invalid. If I were to take this engulfing fail, this already broke it. If I were to take this not an engulfing buy. No one, if I were to take this, it was just wicks that has yet been tested, but this is actually the black zone area. Okay, so for GU, excuse me, if I were to take any trades, it will be in this zone, or a zone up here. All right, I won't trade in between over here. Okay, unless you want to scalp, then it is completely up to you. All right, so GU, what can it do? Screenshot that. It's dropping quite hard. It's dropping quite hard. But that's okay. The news has yet to be released anyway, so this is just volume pre to that news. Okay, so current price, if it decides to retrace back into our key level, whether after the H4 has been closed or during the US session, then there is a potential that it might retrace to tap back. And if H4 respects, then we can catch a sell back down. But if it breaks above, then it might want to test a higher area, vice versa. If it decides to drop all the way, meaning it has to break this low, also this engulfing buy. Okay, it has to break those to have a better chance at reaching this buy zone. Okay, but if it does, and it comes into our buy zone and H4 respects it, then there is a chance that we can catch a bounce back up on a buy. But if it breaks below this, then it might want to test a lower area. Okay, again, for entries, if the price has reached your zone, switch down to M15 to find a setup. If you can't find anything on M15, then go down to M5. Wait for the setup to complete first before pressing anything. And after you have entered a trade, count 40 pips from your entry, and that will be your SL. Okay, last but not least, USD CAD. Now, USD CAD, current price is tapping into this engulfing sell zone, but we also have a zone up here and a zone down here. All right, so what can USD CAD do? Current price. If H4 still decides to respect our engulfing sell zone, right, our potential sell zone, then there's a chance that we can catch a sell back down. But if it breaks above, then it might want to test a higher zone, which we have drawn over here. Okay, vice versa. If it decides to drop into our buying zone and respects it, then potentially we can catch a buy back up. But if it breaks down below, then it might want to test a lower area. Okay, that's it for the three pairs. Please trade smart, trade wisely. For me, I will wait for the H4 to close first. So before then, I'm just going to get back to your mappings and reply to your messages and questions. And I'll wait for the H4 to close. If there's nothing, then I'll wait for the US